Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, have you looked at your electric bill lately? It's probably soaring just like the temperatures. That's one reason why solar energy is enjoying its day in the sun. That story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
As we look at our electric bills, it's gaining a lot of traction, and the Biden administration is certainly pro-clean energy. So solar energy is enjoying its day in the sun. To talk about that today, Travis Dosser. He is known as Travis, the solar expert. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Well, tell us how you got into solar.
Yeah, so I got into solar in 2012 initially. I did one appointment. I kind of saw how it worked, and I saw the process and what was happening, but the numbers didn't quite make sense to me yet. And I waited a few years, and I ended up seeing a job on Indeed that I thought was an installer position, paying pretty well. And I went and did the interview, and it turns out to be a door-knocking appointment setting position. And from there, I started setting appointments for a guy, and I saw him run one, and it was like, oh yeah, like this is what I saw after high school. This is what I've been waiting for.
Sure.
And it was just so common sense. You know, there wasn't any salesmanship to it. It was pull out a spreadsheet, type in the numbers, and do the math. And from there, I was in it.
Well, we're going to show some pictures from one of your partners, Dawn to Dusk Solar, as they're installing these different solar panels. I can tell you from looking at these pictures, they're attractive solar panels. I think the thing that we remember from like the 70s and 80s, sometimes it was gaudy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had the white lines, the streaks running through. It had, you know, blue glass as opposed to an all black look. But now they're all black. A lot of the times they can blend in with your roof really well if you got darker tiles. It's a lot prettier looking.
Yeah. Tell us how the math works. How, if you did install solar panels, how many years does it take to pay off?
Sure. So the best way to think about it is like a house, right? You can get a home mortgage, and then every month you're paying your mortgage payment with what you were spending on rent. So when you get panels, you're paying for it every month with what you were spending on electricity. So the financing typically is 25 years long, like a mortgage. You can pay it off whenever. And normally we say the payoff is 10, 12, 15 years, but just now we've gone up 70% in residential electricity. All my guys who got solar last year, their payback time just got cut down by a few years. You know, their savings just went up a couple $100%.
Sure. Are you finding, is it an easier sale to make than it would have been when you first started?
Oh yeah, it's no question. I mean, now I don't go out and seek prospects anymore. People call me. I answer, you know, phone calls and emails.
I urge my audience to follow him on social media. He comes up with these great video tips. Let's roll one of them.
Cool. So imagine we still had milkmen. The milkman comes by every single day and brings our family milk, and at the end of the month he sends us a bill. Now let's say our family went out and bought a cow to make our own milk, but we don't want to have the expensive equipment to store it, pasteurize it, etc. So what we do is we make a deal with the milkman. We say, hey, every single day you come by, you milk my cow, and at the end of the month you put that on the bill and you subtract it from what I owe you. So if my cow makes 20 gallons and I drink 20 gallons, then I don't owe you anything. The milkman says, cool, okay, your cow produces 100% of your milk now, so 100% of your milk bill is completely eliminated. Why would you have to buy milk if your cow is making it? You're trading a gallon for a gallon, and you already paid for the cow, right? Say the cow's paid off, your milk is free. So make this about solar. The cow is the solar, and the milk is the electricity.
I love it. How did you come up with that? That's a brilliant analogy.
I guess, I don't know, it's hard. I have younger siblings, and sometimes when you're left in charge, you got to find ways to get them to hear things maybe they're not quite
Sure.
You know, they don't understand. And so I make a lot of analogies. In solar, there's just so many people, people ask me, is it a better way to get electricity? When in reality, it's the way things will be done in 5 to 10 years.
Sure.
So you got to kind of connect those dots. And, milkmen, cows, everybody drinks milk.
Sure. And, the young people, the millennials and the Gen Zs who are now starting to get into home ownership, I think they're much more aware of the environment and being able to pass this planet on to their kids.
Yeah, they're much more conscious. Most people now are getting solar for the financial reasons, but we're seeing a lot more coming in for the environmental. Obviously, it's something people are conscious of, especially like you said, new home buyers. They're willing to spend a lot more on panels that are already on a house than maybe the last generation was.
And Travis, you were telling me before the show, there's some tax incentives to putting in solar?
Yeah, so the IRS wants you to get solar, obviously, so they're giving you a tax credit, which goes against your income taxes, equal to 26% of your solar's value. So whatever the total cost of your installation is, 26% of that you receive back against your taxes, which I would explain how it works, but I'm not a certified tax guy. That'd get me into some trouble.
Sure. I want to talk a little bit about conservacare. Tell us about that.
So conservacare is filling in the void that all these new solar installs are creating. So solar's going on roofs, but you can only give somebody solar once, right? And then afterwards, we're creating these new markets for cleaning, for maintenance, for glass care and protection, things that never needed to exist. conservacare is filling in those gaps. They offer warranties on the glass themselves, like a situation with hail. You'd normally have to call homeowners insurance. conservacare covers that.
We've got some video. I want to put this up as you're talking about it. Maybe you can describe what we're looking at.
Right. This is our flagship here. So what conservacare does that nobody else does is provides diamond fusion, which is globally recognized as the best performing glass coating on the planet, used by the U.S. military on their helicopters and vehicles to keep the windshields from cracking. conservacare went and got an exclusive right to put that onto solar panels. So what that's doing now is obviously keeping them safe from hail, rocks, debris, keeping them cleaner from what we call soiling in the industry, dirt, dust, pollen, that kind of thing that lowers transparency and energy production. So conservacare offers this at install, and what it does is essentially protects and maximizes the production of your panels over time. Right? It doesn't make them magically produce more, it just keeps the things that naturally make them produce less from occurring as often.
How long should panels last?
They last 40 to 50 years.
Really?
And to show you that, the International Space Station, they put those panels up in the early 2000s, and they had a 20-year lifespan. And the panels are still performing so well, they've canceled all plans to replace them and have none to do so.
I love this demonstration. That would replicate what hail would do, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
The hail's impressive, and then we do a garden rock. It's I don't know how this stuff works, honestly. The fact that it stays clear and then can do this for glass.
Look at that. Wow. Mm-hmm. Very impressive. So we're almost out of time. Travis, give us some final thoughts. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Basically, if you're considering whether solar is worth it or not, if you have sun on your roof, it is. It's mathematically impossible for oil to cost less than sunshine because we charge for oil. So the best thing you can do is find someone online that's willing to give you a energy assessment and see what it looks like for you. Worst case scenario, you now have the news and information.
Sure. And I know you're an honorable guy, and there are those unscrupulous companies out there, but you're a good guy. That's why you're on the show right now. Talk about what it's like to work with you. What would be the next step in the process?
Yeah, so anybody who wants to work with me, the first step is to give me a call and tell me what you want to do. Solar can help you accomplish many things. It can save you money each month. It can save you a lot more money over time. It can help with your taxes. I just listen. The difference is I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm listening to what you want, and I'm setting it up in a way that's going to benefit you and your family the most.
Outstanding. Travis, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to end with your website, which is travistheexpert.solar.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.